Welcome to Man That's Cooking. In this video, we're going to show you how to make Italian pasta salad. Yes, this is the perfect side dish for your summer barbecue, or you can eat it in the winter and pretend it's summer. So first thing you want to do is cook up the main star of this recipe, and that's the rotini pasta. And you want to follow the directions on the box, and that's usually about 7 to 8 minutes of boil time for this pasta. And then you want to remove the pasta from the hot water, but you don't want to get all that backwash from the drain in your sink. So what you want to do is empty off some of the water. Then you want to place the colander onto the top of the pot like this and just pour out the rest of the water. And then voila, just like that. You've got drained pasta, and then set it inside of the pot once again to let it cool off. Alright, so let's get started with the cutting and slicing. We're going to take these cherry tomatoes and cut the large ones into thirds, and then the small ones are just going to go in halves. Next, you want to dice up 1/2 of a red onion. And if you're wondering, you could do all this prep work a day ahead and store this in the refrigerator and do the final assembly on the next day. Next, we're going to dice up 1/2 of a green bell pepper. And in case you want to freestyle and maybe add 1/2 of a red bell pepper and a yellow bell pepper, why not? Go ahead. Add some color to this dish. Now it's time to slice the pepperoni, and you don't want to cut it lengthwise. No. This is very slippery. What you want to do is cut it into about a 1/2 inch slice, like so. And you want to use some pressure to hold it in place because it is slippery, it's a little greasy, and you don't want to have any knife accidents. After slicing, go ahead and take each slice and use a smaller paring knife and cut these slices into 4 little bite-sized bits. Next, you want to cut up the Genoa Salami, and this is pretty much the same deal as the pepperoni. It's also pretty oily and slippery, so be very careful slicing it. And if your salami has a bigger circumference than your pepperoni, you're going to want to cut this into 9 pieces because, you want to have that proper mouthfeel. That's right, it's all about bite-sized goodness. What were you thinking? So here's an optional ingredient. We're going to add some of these pepperoncinis. And yeah, if you can't handle like cinnamon gum, if that's too hot for you, go ahead and skip this because they're a little spicy. But if you can chomp down on some ghost peppers, you're good. Go with this. You want this. This is a necessity. Next, you want to add 1/2 cup of pre-sliced and de-seeded kalamata olives. And of course, these are optional things. A lot of people hate olives. A lot of people love olives. It all depends what you want to do. Alright, check it out. This is what we've got so far. This would be a good time to put it in the fridge for the next day, if you didn't make the pasta yet, of course. Then on the next day, you could make the pasta and cut the cheese. Because yeah, everybody likes to cut the cheese. So we've got these mozzarella pearls, and they're probably a little too big on their own to be bite-sized. So you just want to take a small paring knife and cut them in half. Next, we're going to add some cheese with a kick. And again, if you can't handle cinnamon gum, this cheese is not for you. Maybe you want to have maybe some Swiss or some Colby Jack. But if you can handle the spicier side of life, go ahead and cut up some pepper jack, and you want to just make some cubes. And again, it's about mouthfeel, it's about bite size. You want to make them not too small, but like this, pretty much. If you want to keep them large, that's on you, but it's about being able to have it on a fork or a spoon when you go to eat it. Think about it that way. And the last ingredient is fresh parsley. You want to dice this up, and don't skip on this. I mean, it's like dirt cheap to buy anyway. You may as well do it. It's definitely going to add a nice flavor to mention. And check it out. Here's where we're at now. This is it. This is a lot of stuff. I know it was a lot of chopping, but it's going to be worth it. And now it's time to make a dressing. So you want to have like a jar or something that has a lid, and you want to put a half cup of olive oil in there, followed by about a quarter cup of white vinegar, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and it's kind of sticky, and that's why wearing a glove is helpful sometimes, and some Italian seasoning. Next, we're going to add some kosher salt and some black pepper. And if you're wondering, all of the ingredients and the measurements are at the website manthat'scooking.com. So if you're old like man, you could go there and click print on the recipe. And once you put everything together, just shake it up with the lid closed, and now you've got some good dressing. Look at that. So get yourself a 9x13 pan, and it's time to put everything together. So your pasta is probably cool by now, and if it is, go ahead and dump that in first. Break it apart, spread it about, and next, carefully dump everything else into that pan, just like that. So go ahead and hand mix everything together. This is kind of where it pays to have a glove. If you try to use a spoon, you're going to dump everything everywhere. So buy yourself some gloves. It's cheap. Do it. Next, add the dressing. Go ahead and incorporate that dressing a little bit at a time. Mix it together, and then add some more dressing. Now you want to use all the dressing onto this pasta salad, and if you want, it's not a bad idea to make a second batch just for, some folks like a lot of dressing, so they might want to pour it on their individual serving. Finally, just top it with parsley, and this is what we get. Food porn flyover. Take a look at that. This is hearty. This is pretty much a meal in itself. It makes a great summer side dish to a barbecue, but you could practically eat this on its own in the winter in Canada in the frozen tundra. So hey, thanks for watching this video. Click like, click subscribe, check us out on Facebook. Visit manthat'scooking.com for more recipes. Thanks for watching.